Hey, this is gonna serve as a little part two because I did go back and watch the video and realized that I didn't even get onto what you call it, subtle racism, how subtle racism actually fucking works. So we're gonna get into that real quick. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about some little difference. You know, the difference between blatant racism and subtle racism. There's absolutely no reason as to why people don't know about this. There's really no reason as to why no one knows about this. It's like it's stupid to see that. Hold on. Okay, cool, great. So subtle racism. It's basically just like racism that somebody wouldn't normally catch. Like it's sometimes undetectable, but most of the time really just regular. I mean, it's not something to just be dismissive about. We could be dismissive about it most of the time, but we really shouldn't be dismissive because if we just let it pass, if we just let it slide, then it gets worse. It just it's like a parasite. It gets more prevalent. It gets more difficult to trace and to track down. And then when it just completes its job, it just moves on to the next person. So it's like subtle racism basically being small things like um, asking a black person, do they like chicken and watermelon? I mean, it's like, no, bitch, not all of us eat chicken and watermelon. We eat it because we still have the scars from our past that tell us to eat it. Like because I'm black, bitch. Listen, when my family we have chicken and or watermelon because we don't have them shits together at all. I don't know why people think that we have them together when we don't. If somebody bring watermelon, it's like watermelon, really? Why? We second guess it. Like I, for one, I don't even like watermelon like that no more. Like after I found out the racial implications of what watermelon and chicken does to black people, I stopped eating it. I stopped eating it. Now chicken is different. Chicken, it's a poultry. Like I'm not gonna turn down the chicken, but I'm not gonna be super enthusiastic about it either. For some of y'all black people out there that feel like we gotta be super enthusiastic about fucking chicken when we not like that. We're not like that. I don't know why some black people feel like it's okay to portray us that way. When we not even all that enthusiastic about fried chicken. Somebody make fried chicken, okay, fried chicken, we gonna have some, we gonna eat some, we gonna eat. We gonna eat today. What's up? But we not gonna be jumping up out our fucking seats to go to the run to the fucking kitchen. We not gonna be jumping out our seats to go to the kitchen and be like, "Ooh, what you making? Oh, fried chicken! I can't wait! Da da da! Yay!" Dancing around the fuck like we not gonna dance around the stove because somebody making fried chicken. And believe it or not, black people don't always make the best fried chicken. Some black people don't even know how to fry chicken. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Um, let's get into further some more serious stuff. Like, subtle racism can also just be policies, right? We got the whole private schools not accepting black children because of how their hair is done. Now, a lot of people can sit there and be like, okay, well, private schools are private schools. We really don't really need them. But what y'all don't understand is that private schools, they teach a certain type of education. They teach an education that's not public. That's why they're called private schools. They teach different things based on how their school wants. They teach the basics, but then they also teach the other stuff that our kids don't get taught in school. Oh, perfect. That's a perfect representation. School is the ultimate. Um, School, in my opinion, public school is the ultimate application of subtle racism. Now, let me say that again for some people. It's the ultimate, the most harmful version of subtle racism, because the school system is designed to teach our kids to fail. They only teach us the basics over and over and over and over again until the end of high school. And then we have to pay to go to college. Now, think about that for a second. College is very expensive. Very expensive. The only people who will really have the money to go to college are the people who have the economic ability to save up enough money to go to college. Now listen to that. They only teach the money-making properties of college and require us all to go to college so that we can work in a professional field. Listen to that. Listen to that. Just listen to that for one quick minute. We're required to go to college to be recognized as professionals. But the only people who can go to college are those with the economic stability to go to college. Wait a second. So they're only teaching us the basics up until the end of high school. And then the real stuff that makes us real money in the real world and gets us really recognized in the real world, locked behind a paywall for white people and Asian people and Indian people, but blacks and Hispanics stuck behind a paywall because we don't have the money to go to college. So we don't have the money to get the higher education necessary to become professionals and to actually make the money necessary to bring our community out of poverty. But even if we did have that money, a lot of our rich and upper and middle class men counterparts in our black community don't funnel the money into the right places, because they're always buying some fucking Bugatti and some big ass house that they don't need, some big ass house with a whole bunch of land and trees that they don't need. Okay, they don't need Drake, Lil Wayne, Beyonce. Like, y'all don't need all that shit. Y'all don't need that much space. I mean, getting a big house is fine. Whatever. Getting your own land, fine. Whatever. But you don't need it to be that damn big. What you need in that house for it to be that big? Nothing. Nothing. You gonna take up that much land? You better build a school. You better build an institution. Build a shelter. The same size as that house. Build a fucking shelter. Build a bitch, build something. Don't just make a house and have only you on it. And you gotta drive around come on now. Y'all got enough land for a 5-minute drive. A 5-minute drive to your gate, child. For what? For what? What do you need all of that for? What do you need it for? You got a gate. Cool. You don't want nobody coming in your house. But 5 minutes to get to your door? Driving? Are you bugging? Why? What do you need that for? Anyway, I've spent too long talking about what somebody needs. But yes, the effects of subtle racism can be felt anywhere. Anywhere. let's unpack this a bit for a second. Let's, because I want to get into it, but I can't get into it until I really explain what it is. Subtle racism can be just, it could just be some words. It could be a state of mind. It could be, an assumption. Like, just looking at a black person and just be like, oh, their hair is short. They must not have enough money for weave. Why are you thinking that? You don't know. But what you do know is that black people do wear weave. They do spend money on weave, and that is specifically black women, because males really don't wear weave unless they're like slightly a part of the LGBTQ community. And then no, that was quite ignorant of me to say, because there are male weaves out there for whatever, but I thought they were called toupee. But anyway, um, um, it's just like, it's not that it's not that it's not an issue, because it is an issue. It's an issue not because black people are being petty or stupid or whatever. It's about black people needing to be free of this assumption of ourselves. It's not about y'all it's not about y'all saying it out loud. It's the fact that it exists. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's, you don't have to say it. It's what you do behind it that's the problem. You could say it, but if it didn't have any real world applications that go along with it, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. You could say whatever the hell you want, but if you weren't suppressing the knowledge of my kids, if you weren't suppressing my ability to make money, if you weren't killing me or hunting me down because you have a certain group of people who need to be shot and executed because of the way they take their so-called ability to say what they want to say and bear arms, y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm not going to give them no promo, because if they come for me, we're going to have a problem. I'm going to be a murderer. Somebody, let one of them from that group come to me. I'll be a murderer. A mass murderer at that. Yeah. It's if you didn't have certain types of charities that take the money from these people who actually need it, and then funnel that illegally obtained money into their community. Yes, white people starting charities is also a problem, because you're increasing the gap between white and black people intentionally. The wealth gap between black people and white people is like centuries back. We can increase the amount of wealth we gain, but it still wouldn't top the 400 years that y'all stole from us. Until y'all start funneling it back. Increasing presence of black people and the excellence of black people increases our ability to close the wealth gap. But the problem is white people who are hateful and fearful, they get together and they try to bring down any black person that is doing well for themselves, and that is a problem. The subtleness of racism is, it's crazy. It goes really deep. Like, all right, it goes deep. Have you ever, for those of y'all out there that was born 1998, right? Y'all used to get up. You used to watch for the people that out there that love cartoons, right? You get up, you watch your Saturday morning cartoons, and you watching the normal good versus evil type shit, right? Why is it that the word good is highlighted in white? Or any character that's supposed to be a good character. Like, let's take the Wizard of Oz, right? Let's take the Wizard of Oz, right? The Wizard of Oz is a story about a girl from Kansas who got caught up in a magical tornado that took her and her house and her dog Toto and dropped them in the middle of Oz. On top of the Wicked Witch of the East, I think one of them, the East, and in retaliation for this house being dropped on this Wicked Witch, there was the Wicked Witch of the West, the evil witch's sister. She basically was just like, oh, you killed my sister, now I'm going to kill you. Or I'm going to terrorize the village until you come and see me so I can kill you. But, yeah, so she goes off on a journey to see the wizard. She finds a whole bunch of different people. Y'all know how that story go. Anyway, the good witch Glinda, the good witch of the North, Glinda, here's where the subtle racism comes in. Not only are all of this cast, the original cast, being played by white people, but the good person, the good witch, she's dressed in silver and white, and when she uses magic, her magical effects are white, right? And the witch, there's black, there's an emerald green, there's her monkeys, her flying monkeys, black wings, black fur. They look like apes, you know? They're wearing bellhop uniforms, some of them, right? No, that's the newest version of them. That was the newest version that I just confused there. Anyway, right? Servants. They're servants to the Wicked Witch, who is a woman. She's green faced. She looks terrible. She's wearing a black hat with a black robe. But what I'm trying to get at here is that the good person, the good witch, you hear what I'm saying? The word good being associated with the color of white. The word evil being associated with the color of black. Now, subconsciously, they don't have to say this, but subconsciously, when you think of the word good, now you're thinking of the color white. When you're thinking of the word bad, you're thinking of the word black or evil. You're thinking of the word evil, which is consistently the opposite of good, which is black. You hear what I'm saying? So in your mind, when you hear the color black, you're instantly thinking of bad, evil, wicked, this and that, and chaos and destruction and death. But when you hear the color, when you see the color white, you're hearing good, precious, pristine, nice, protection, safe, hero. You're hearing all these other different words based on these two colors, white and black. But then it gets even deeper when you hear the words positive and negative attached to these words as well. So when you hear positive, you're thinking of good colors like white, blue, yellow, positive colors, orange, right? But when you hear the words negative colors, you're hearing blue, purple, green, blue, purple, dark green, dark purple, dark blue, dark pink, magenta, black, gray. Gray. And the reason why I put emphasis on gray is because gray is a mixture of white and black. Catch it. Catch the racial implication. White and black. A lot of people don't understand that that is a problem. Okay? That is a problem. They teach us these things subconsciously. Subconsciously. When you go to art class, y'all remember the art wheel? The wheel with all the different colors on it. Gray being the middle color. Black and white being considered the two main positive and negative colors respectively. White being positive, black being negative. Purple being a negative color. But purple is an Israelite. But for an Israelite, for a Hebrew, purple is a royal color, along with gold accents. Catch it. You hear that? Right? Especially if you know that black people were the original Hebrew Israelites, because we're not even gonna get into that religious shit right now. We on subtle racism. So the subtlety of racism goes deep. It goes very, very deep. It's not just about underlying messages. No. When we talking about underlying messages, we need to go to the source. We need to go to the beginning. All right? We need to go to the very beginning. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, underlying messages, secret policies, hidden laws, hidden this, hidden that. All of that is a byproduct of what we are taught subconsciously. If we are taught subconsciously that white equals good and black equals bad, the reason why we are learning the way the brain collects things together, it's like when we see a representation of white and good being in the same thing, we automatically correlate white and good being the same thing. It's like, and that trend, it's not like that trend isn't being continued up until today. They replace these colors with red and blue. Red being hot, blue being cold. However, red being associated with good winter, with good weather being called summer and spring, and bad weather being called winter and fall. Do you hear this? Good weather, summer, spring, associated with the colors of orange, yellow, red. Winter being bad, being associated with the colors blue, teal, turquoise. Fall, brown, light brown, dark brown, and all different shades of brown. Catch it. Brown. Bad weather. It's just like, it's a lot of different stuff that comes with subtle racism that you just can't get rid of. You can't just be like, oh, subtle racism it's weird, it's not right, it's this and the third. Yeah, it's not right. It's weird. But you have to actually understand it before you can start saying, oh, we got to change that. Because you can't change it until you change the representation of good and bad. We can uplift black people as bad, but now as good, but now everybody's confused. We could uplift black people as being good people, as the good people they are, but then everybody's confused. Now your subconscious is trying to absorb that black people are actually good, but you have to add the word people for it to be a good thing. You know what I'm saying? And then you have a bunch of people who believe that white people and black people are good people. It's just that they say racist shit attached to the stigma of the so-called good people of the white race. That the good white people decided to attach to us. And now we have a stigma and an attachment of that being stuck with us for the rest of our lives because white people can't let that shit go. And it's not like I'm saying, again, I'm not saying all white people, because I do know some white people who have the balls to fucking ask, like, yo, do y'all really like chicken or whatever? Is that like a stereotype that I shouldn't be talking about? Like, come on. If you could ask me, if you could come to me and be like, yo, I was thinking like, yo, like this, do y'all really like chicken and watermelon, this and the third? But is that like a stereotype, like for real? Like, if you wanted to know, like for real, you could ask. Don't be afraid to ask. However, we're gonna look at you a little sideways and be like, why was you thinking that? Like, we're gonna have a conversation about it. But don't just assume it, because then it becomes racist. Don't just like show up with a bucket of KFC and think we're gonna like that's racist. Don't do that shit. Don't do that. That's when it becomes racist. That's when it becomes a problem. It's not like you can't just be like, oh, I'm so, like you're gonna don't get called out and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Listen, like, come on, like be for real. Subtle racism is subtle because it's uncatchable. Black people don't really understand. A lot of black people themselves don't actually understand how deep this goes, because they don't really just think and follow their thoughts. They just think and say. And it's not like they don't know any better. It's just that they're not really thinking on the deepest level that they can get it to. In order for that to get down there, they don't understand that their kids are being taught these things subconsciously. And our subconscious is teaching us that white people are good. See, they are teaching us to be passive without us actually fucking knowing. And once it's in there, your subconscious actually controls yourself. So what we need to do is reprogram our people into being less passive, less forgiving. Okay? Less passive, less forgiving, and more open. Because if we stay passive, this shit will continue to happen. If we stay passive, this will continue to happen. If we stay closed up, we won't speak as much. And if we continue to forgive, then everything that we've ever worked for will mean nothing. Well, this has been a really long video. I usually only do like 15, 16 seconds, and now it's about to be like 30 minutes. I said 15, 16 seconds. I'm bugging. It's like 15, 16 minutes, and now it's about to be like 30, like damn near twice as long, because I'm talking about this subject. Now, I don't know if I'm going to have enough space on my phone to do this shit, to even upload it to YouTube, but I'm going to fucking try. If I can't, I'm going to download it to a computer and try to get it out that way. But other than that, I love y'all.